Hey everyone, I am back. I'm so sorry I'm late. I was on vacation, but y'all know I couldn't miss out on this review, okay? This is The Haves and the Have-Nots, Season 5, Episode 10, titled A Lover's Passions. There is a lot of different levels of passion in this week's episode. More importantly, this was the finale, and I'm just going to be honest, it really didn't give me everything I needed. But, I'm looking forward to May when the Haves and the Have-Nots will be coming back. But even before I dig into the episode, let's go ahead and make this public service announcement. If this is your first time on my channel, you may as well go ahead and join the family. Click that subscribe button. I would appreciate it. For those of you that are my returning subscribers, thank you so much for your continued support. I love the likes, comments, and new subscribers. Okay, so with all that being said, I'll dig right on into it. Okay, so the episode started where it left off. This is Wyatt and Jeffrey hugging, and Justin happens to walk in, and it looks like something that it's totally not. We know that Wyatt and Jeffrey are friends, but Justin is convinced otherwise because he is a jealous, delusional, forced boyfriend in a sense. Like, he claims Jeffrey, but Jeffrey don't fully be claiming him. It depends on his mood, but whatever. Of course, like Justin always does, he starts questioning them. Wyatt looks at Justin like he's crazy, and he's looking at Jeffrey like, why do you deal with this dude? Wyatt even offers at one point to leave out and go and get David, Jeffrey's dad, but Jeffrey says no because for some strange reason he always defends Justin's craziness. So anyways, Wyatt even informed Jeffrey that Justin has showed up at his house and got into a physical altercation with him to fight him and everything. And Jeffrey is taken back by this information. All of this is new to him, and it's a lot for him to try to keep under control and process. At the same time, they're trying to tell Justin to leave. He won't. And Justin just takes a seat. Like, look, I'm not going anywhere until I get the truth. Like, what is going on between you guys? Why are you doing this to me? Why are you torturing me? Jeffrey claims he's not torturing him. Then Wyatt is like, I'm not dealing with this mess, okay? I'm about to go leave and get your dad. So then Wyatt leaves out. At this point, Justin kind of like breaks down, and he's like, what is it going to take for me to make you see that I'm serious? Like, I have given up everything for you. I have risked so much for you. Like, I don't care nothing about my family no more. Like, I have risked my job. Like, you just make me crazy, and I'm trying to prove to you in so many ways. Like, oh my gosh, you're driving me insane. What do I need to do next? And so Jeffrey is like, let me tell you once again, like I told you 11 times, okay, 5,011 times, that he is just my friend, nothing more, okay? If he even ever insinuated it was anything more, he was just messing with you. He is literally just my friend. I am not going to leave you for him. He is straight, okay? Justin is like, I don't believe you, okay? I am just so in love with you, and after everything I've sacrificed, I just cannot imagine you walking away from me and going with him. Jeffrey tries to tell him that's not going to happen, but you need to chill out. So then Justin proceeds to get up and like give him a hug. Jeffrey is like overwhelmed right now, so he doesn't want to be touched. So he's like, I'm good, okay? Just get off of me, and like yells it loud. At that point, perfect timing, David and Wyatt walk into the room, and David asks Justin to leave, and he leaves out. Okay, so then we have David asking Jeffrey, like, what's going on? Of course, Jeffrey doesn't say much of anything. He's always, like, real short with his dad. His dad is hurt at this point because he tells him, like, you never tell me anything. You never give me the details, and you hold back so much information until it's too late, okay? Like, I want you to trust me. As your dad, you can tell me anything. You've told me things before. I'm not going to judge you. And then at this point, like, Jeffrey just has sympathy for Justin, and like he doesn't want anything bad to happen to him. Wyatt gets fed up with this conversation because he thinks this is pure craziness, and he just leaves to go home. So at this point, Jeffrey is having like a real conversation with his dad. He basically tells him that he feels like indebted to Justin in some type of way because Justin has helped him out. Now, he forgot about all the bad things Justin did when Justin first met him, but he like helped them like kind of try to conceal the body as long as possible. And he just like, he won't go into a lot of details, but he basically thinks that Justin is a nice guy and he likes him, but he just has like some problems and issues he needs to deal with. And I'm like, these are major problems and issues that you really shouldn't look past. But at this point, Justin thinks like Jeffrey thinks, you know what, I can handle Justin. Like, don't trip. So then just Jeffrey goes as far as to say, you know, he just can't help it. He's a good guy. He's just in love with me. So David asks, well, are you in love with him? Because that would be the only reason why you're trying to protect him so much. Besides you feeling like you're indebted to him. So then Jeffrey says, well, I've never had anyone be so passionate about me. And I think that's a common mistake that a lot of people make in this world in relationships. It could be a very toxic relationship, but because the person is like aggressive or their feelings are displayed in a passionate manner, whether it's good or bad, they feel like, oh, this person really loves me because nobody else has ever, felt this deeply about me to express themselves in this way. So then that's when David goes as far as to say, you know what, abuse is not passion, okay? So you're getting that real confused. So then Jeffrey is like, well, I know. At that point, he says he's kind of confused. Like, he doesn't know, like, whether he loves Justin or not. He knows he likes him sometimes, but he's just not quite sure. Then he says, Dad, you're one to talk because I watched you and Mom for years, and she is kind of she is an abusive person, whether it's like physically or verbally. Like, she's abusive, she's not good for you, she treated you horrible, but you loved her so much that you just couldn't let it go. So why don't you understand it coming from me? And that was like a wow, aha moment for David, because David is like, oh, I've showed my son this for years. So he's like, you know what, um, at that point, David couldn't even like try to defend himself anymore. And he's like, I understand. I want you to be safe. You let me know if you need me. In the meantime, I've reached out to a judge, and I should be able to get you out on bail, but you might have to stay here one more night. And so Jeffrey is cool with that. Then he tells him he loves him and that he'll be right back. Okay, so then we get over to the hotel. Candace is walking through the lobby when she notices Oscar on his computer, but she doesn't allow him to see her when she's walking by. But he looks real focused on the computer. At that point, Oscar calls Jim. Jim and Catherine are sitting at Wyatt's house waiting for Wyatt. At this point, he tells Jim he thinks he got the information, which is Wyatt's bank information, and the deal should be done soon. Cool. So then when he gets off the phone with him, Catherine asks Jim, what was all that about? Jim says, I got this all under control. I got Wyatt's inheritance money back. Catherine is like, how? And he's like, don't worry about it, but just know that you need me. While you're trying to push me away, you need me. I know how to handle situations. Then Catherine is like, well, Wyatt's going to be pretty mad. And Jim is like, well, that's fine. That's what I want. Why you would want Wyatt to be mad, I'm not sure, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. Okay, so then we're back to Candace, okay? Candace walks into her room, then she calls the bartender Rocky. She tells Rocky basically to look over at Oscar, like she describes who he is. Notice the guy sitting in the bar area. She wants Rocky to take pictures of his computer screen to see like what exactly Oscar is looking at or researching. Oscar is being extremely protective of his screen, so Candace tells Rocky that he wants her to have Gia go over there and distract him while Rocky takes the pictures of the screen. So then Rocky agrees. He writes a little note on like a piece of paper and slides it to Gia. Gia then calls Candace, and Candace tells her the plan. She's supposed to go over to Oscar, act extremely drunk, close his computer screen a few times to kind of throw him off his game, and and she reminds him that like Oscar is not the type that's interested in working girls because he already knows that game. So Gia is like, okay, I'll do it. So then after she passes her the note, yada 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 yada, convinces her to go over there and talk. Gia goes over there, talks to Oscar. Oscar is like totally uninterested. He tells her, I don't want a working girl like you. She's like, what are you talking about? I just want to get to know you. Can you buy me a drink? Want, 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 want. Oscar is like, no, I'm really busy right now. She shuts his computer a few times just to throw him off like she was told. Then she basically tells him like, look, I have to come over here because you see that guy over there? He's my pimp. And if I'm not over here talking to you, it doesn't look like I'm doing my job. So can you please just help me out? Now, she wasn't fully lying. Her pimp did tell her to do that, but her pimp is in fact Candace. So he was like, okay, I will indulge in your conversation. So he decides to do that. All along, Rocky is taking pictures. He sends a text message to Candace with the pictures. She's super excited because these pictures show Jim Pryor's account information, which Oscar would have because Oscar needs to transfer the funds to Jim's account, Wyatt's inheritance funds. Okay, so Candace is feeling like, yes, the ball is in my court. She's super happy about this. Okay, so let's pause that for a minute. Veronica. We get to Veronica's house, okay? Veronica, she's never my favorite of the episodes, but she was my favorite this episode. All I saw was Veronica in her ponytail and her swoop, and it was cold. Like, I loved it, okay? I thought about for a second, like, man, I'm gonna need to get a ponytail. But it was a different look for Veronica. It was just like, it looked so good. It made her look younger, and it was just like, yes, it was spicy. Okay, I loved it. Okay, so Candace calls Veronica. Veronica says, do you have something for me? And she's referring to information on David. Candace is like, yes, I do have a little bit of information for you, but I'm going to need something from you first. So then Veronica says, just like a hood rat, always looking for cheese. And I'm like, Veronica, you can just never let a moment go by when you're not like degrading Candace in some type of way. But whatever. Candace is like, I don't have to deal with this. Like, I'll just get off the phone. You need to apologize. So then Veronica, she wants this information on David. So she cooperates and apologizes. So anyways, she called her a little girl and everything, but she calmed all that down. Okay, so Candace says that she wants to have Lloyd Bowman. Well, she asked Veronica, does she know Lloyd Bowman? Now, I believe Lloyd Bowman is the banker that is connected to the Cryers and the Harringtons. Remember, I believe he's the banker that was working with Jim to get his money back from Candace. When Candace had her, like, the houses and was, like, signed off in her name at the bank, but it was like forged incorrectly or something like that. I believe he's that banker. So I'll get to that in a minute. But anyways, Veronica does know Lloyd Bowman. Candace wants Veronica to have Lloyd Bowman open up an account for her under the name of the Cryer Company, but Candace wants to be the owner and the only signer on the account. She needs this done ASAP. So then Veronica says, the young Jezebel wants to get into savings. And I'm like, Veronica, you just can't help but to throw shade. But anyways, Candace kind of just like ignores her because she has a plan in mind. So she tells her that's how she wants the account set up and asks her if it's possible. Veronica then says, I can do anything. Now, what information do you have for me? So then Candace tells Veronica that David bought a house. Veronica is shocked. She's like, wow, okay. What did he buy a house for? Did he buy a house for her? And at this point, like, Veronica looks like really human at this point. She looks like she's like kind of hurt in a sense and shocked. So that's when Candace says, well, she's living with him. And she's like, Veronica's like, wow, well, where is the house? Then Candace says, Ocean View. And then Veronica is like distraught at that point because she's like, what? I wanted to move to Ocean View, but he told me it was too expensive. Now he's moved her there and he barely even knows her. Candace is like, hey, my girls are good. Like, I could teach you a thing or two if you would just listen to me. And then, so Veronica is not even paying attention to Candace's shade because she's like really hurt at this point. Um, then Candace says, well, you should see the place. It's beautiful. Veronica asks her if she has the address. Candace says she does, but she won't give it to her until after Veronica has the account set up for her, and she needs it set up as soon as possible. So then Veronica told her, I can do that. I need half an hour to get it done, and I will let you know, and then you'll give me the address. Cool. So at that point, Veronica calls Lloyd the banker, tells him all the details to get it set up. While she's on the phone with him, Melissa walks into the kitchen. Veronica is so distraught that after she gets off the phone with the banker, she just puts her cell phone down and leaves it in the room with Melissa, which she wouldn't typically do that, but Veronica is just off her game right now because she's hurt. So then Melissa takes advantage of this opportunity, goes over to Veronica's phone, texts Benny as if she is Veronica, and says something to the fact of, hey, I want to see you. I want you to come over to my house after 6 o'clock. No need to call. So, of course, she's just setting him up so he can come over there, and she can probably have her way with him. Okay, so then we have Benny. He receives Veronica's text. He's a little bothered by it because he doesn't want anything to do with them, or so he says. Hanna notices him like looking at his text, and she assumes that it's probably from Veronica. She tries to meddle in his business, but he really doesn't feel like going back and forth with his mom anymore. So he just gets up and walks out. That's when the doorbell rings, and Catherine sends over 2 makeup artists to get Hanna made up for her date with Derek that night. So, at that point, Hanna calls Catherine to like thank her for sending over the makeup artist. Then she basically accepts Catherine's proposal to promote her as the supervisor, head of her housekeeping, and Catherine is happy and relieved. And basically, they'll touch bases later because Catherine wants to know how Hannah's date will go. Okay, so then we have Gia still having small talk with Oscar. Then Candace walks up. Are we there? Yeah, Candace walks up and, like, of course, they're supposed to act like they don't know each other in person, and she tells her to leave and get lost. Oscar is shocked because Candace hasn't approached him in so long, so he's like, wow, like, you're in a good mood. Where did this come from? And she's like, I want to hear about this plan with Great Value Obama, a.k.a. Charles. Then he's like, wow, finally. Okay, yes, we can talk. And she's like, yes, but we're not talking here. We're talking upstairs. Plus, I'm feeling a little frisky, so you better hurry up. So he's like, wow, okay, what has gotten into her? Okay. So then we rush back over to David's house. David is exhausted after being at the police station, trying to bribe Hanna, arguing with Veronica, going over to Veronica's house, seeing Veronica with Benny. I mean, he done just went through a lot, okay? Within 24, 48 hours, he's happy to be back home, but he's exhausted, and he looks super stressed out. So he goes in his house with no furniture and sits on the steps, and you can tell that he is, like, super stressed. So Erica comes down the stairs in her little, like, blue silk robe, like she's a little housewife, and she kind of, like, pretends that she cares and tries to console him, tries to get information out of him, but David is real airtight. He doesn't say much of anything. He's like, I've just been dealing with a lot. She says, is it about your ex-wife? He says, no, it's not. It's really about my son. Erica then, in the midst of their conversation, leaves to go get him a glass of wine and her a glass of wine so that she can kind of be like, hey, I'm here for you. You can trust me. You can love me, whatever. So you can tell that David is thankful for that because he's not used to that type of treatment from his ex-wife. Okay, so then we have, she offers to give him a massage, so then he allows her to, and she, like, starts massaging him, and that's when he kind of starts opening up a little bit. And he tells her he doesn't want to talk about it, but basically, like, without going into too much detail, he blames himself for Justin for Jeffrey's current affairs. He realizes at this age his kid is an adult, but he really messed up David. David really messed up loving the wrong person for so long and showing this toxic relationship to his son, not realizing that his son was going to grow up and do the exact same thing, and to accept abuse and like look at it as some like weird form of love when it's not. And so he feels like, it's his fault, and he's not regretful of loving Veronica because he can't lie and say that he didn't love her, but he's regretful of showing that to his child, showing that that he stayed in a bad situation where he should have gotten out of it a long time ago. At this point, I think he's totally over Veronica, although she's not over him. Okay, so, but he does say he's happy to come home to Erica. Erica uses that opportunity as like perfect timing to kind of like start like kissing him and all that. And they're like about to get intimate, but it goes to another scene. Okay, so Candace calls Veronica. She basically is checking on the status of her account. Veronica says she got it open, but Candace wants evidence of the account. Veronica doesn't want to play games at this point, okay? She has too much going on. She just wants the address so she can go and see David, okay? And then Veronica even tells her, girl, I will close your account if you don't give me this address. And then so Candace says, well, how can you close my account if it's supposed to be my account? I'm supposed to be the owner and the only signer. She said, look, I have connections. Just like I got the account open without you, I can get it closed without you as well. Then Candace is like, well, okay, well, since you don't want to give me evidence of this account, then I won't be able to give you the address for 24 hours. Plus, you're not in a good emotional state right now. You're going to go over to David's house and you're going to mess up our whole plan, okay? Me and Erica have been working on this. Now it's not the time for you to go over there. But Candace should have thought this out because she's known that Veronica is like permanently emotionally unstable. So why would you ever give her the address? She's definitely going to mess up your plan. So Candace made a mistake in even telling her that she had the address to begin with. But whatever. So then Catherine hangs up on her. Not Catherine. Candace hangs up on Veronica. Veronica calls back. Why am I like dying to talk about Catherine so bad? Veronica calls back and convinces Candace to give her the address. Okay. So then we are back to Oscar and Candace. Oscar does what he is told, and he comes up to Candace's room. Candace wants Oscar to take his clothes off. And he's like, no, I'm here to talk about Great Value Obama, okay? Like, I don't trust you. And I'm really paranoid when it comes to you. And she's like, well, you should be. He's like, exactly. So this is why I'm not taking off my clothes. And I honestly don't think that Candace wants to sleep with Oscar. Like, I don't know her thought process behind him wanting him to take off his clothes. Maybe she thinks he's wired. Maybe she wants to make sure he doesn't have a weapon. Maybe she wants to make sure there's no camera or recording device or anything. I don't know. Or maybe she just wants to torture him. Maybe she's still mad at the fact that he stole her money, which she does mention that in this scene as well. But she's like, come on, just have a drink with me. And then he's like, no, what is this about me coming up here? And Candace is like, okay, I'll give you a little piece of information. Great Value Obama bailed me out of jail today. And he's like, wow, this is great information. Like, do you have evidence of this? Why would he do that? I knew my sources were right. I knew he was still into you. So then Candace is like, you know what? You really can't take him down. He's not who you think he is, okay? You really think that he's like Great Value Obama, but he's really like a reformed OG, okay? Like, he's just like us, okay? He's real out here in these streets, and his little picture perfect image is throwing you off. He's not going to be able to go down without a fight. Who wants to take him down anyway? Oscar just keeps saying, like, people in high places, powerful people. Whatever. Candace doesn't think it's a good idea, and she gets off subject. She wants Oscar to take off his clothes and have a drink. He won't take off his clothes, but he does say he will have one drink. Okay, so then we have Wyatt. I already knew this was going to happen, okay? Wyatt walks into a bar by himself and he's acting like he's there for a drink, which he's not there for a drink, okay? Whenever he goes snooping around in public, he's snooping around for drugs, okay? Well, by the way that Wyatt was acting at the bar, there was a dealer there that could tell that's why Wyatt was there, because Wyatt asked if they had anything stronger than tequila. And I'm like, Wyatt, you just ordered like pure tequila. Of course, that's like super strong in itself. But whatever. The dealer comes up to him and says, "Hey, can you meet me in the bathroom? I heard you wanted something stronger." So Wyatt is like, "Sure, great." So, Wyatt just puts himself in like crazy situations. He just trusts any and everybody, especially when it comes to drugs, because that's what he's like fiending for. So he goes into the bathroom. The guy checks the stalls to make sure no one's in there. Then he tries to make sure Wyatt's not a cop or anything. Then he asks him, like, like, how much money do you have so I'll know how much to give you? At that point, Wyatt pulls out a stack, like a stack of hundreds. I'm like, well, dang. Like, if you had a car, you would just give that away. If you had furs, you would give that away. You didn't hesitate to give a whole stack of hundreds. So then the dude gives him, like, a big, like, package of, like, I think he asked for cocaine. So he gives him that, and Wyatt is like, this is great. And the dealer was like, look, you can do business with me anytime. I do like deliveries, house calls, whatever. If you're shoveling out this much money, you can call me. So at that point, the guy leaves out. Wyatt is looking at himself in the mirror. At this point, we know that Wyatt is sober. He has learned, how to not. He's learned his triggers through like counseling and things. So at this point, we don't see him do it on camera, but you can tell that he wants to. Okay. So then Veronica. Veronica, we know this is the end of the episode. Veronica pulls up to David's house. She is shocked. She is in amazement because she's like, wow, this is a beautiful house. It has a circle driveway. I can't believe he bought this house in Ocean View, the house that I always wanted. Like he's living my dream with somebody else. So she doesn't even rush to the front door. She gets out of her car and she is just like casually like doing like a slow walk to the front door because she can't even believe that this is real at this point. As she like walks slowly to the door, she doesn't barge up or anything. She simply looks inside the window and you can tell there is like hurt and pain all over her face. At any moment within 2 seconds, we don't see Ice Queen Veronica. We see vulnerable, teary-eyed, I am devastated Veronica. And she is a real person in this moment because the camera doesn't show us what she's looking at, but we know that she's looking at David and Erica on the steps getting busy in this dream home that she always wanted in this perfect location, and the Ice Queen is going to return with a vengeance. Da, da, da. Okay, yeah. Like I said, wasn't like a jaw-dropping ending because she didn't do anything crazy, but we just saw a real person in Veronica for a change. But whatever the case, as always, like, comment, and subscribe. Check me out. I have some new videos coming up this week that I'm going to try out. So let me know what you think by liking, commenting, and subscribing, of course. Okay, I'll see you guys later on this week. Bye.